when I built this 1929 Chrysler Speedster, my plans were for the odd weekend cruise, not the racetrack. But plans change. Out of the blue, the Austin 7 Club invited the car to attend Historic Winton. It even made it into the official event program. Now, I could have just parked it in the display dynamic and polished the alloy. But if you're already at Australia's premier historic race circuit, you might as well have a crack at it. There was just one small catch. This isn't a racing car. To get through scrutineering, I had to transform this 1920s cruiser into a regulation-compliant machine, as well as hooking myself up with a AASA event license, compliant helmet and safety apparel. Checking the supplementary regulations meant tracking down and fabricating a few essentials. Fire extinguisher, oil catch can, battery isolator signage, oil drain tie wires, headlight tape, tow points, which came in handy, and don't forget timer mount and race numbers amongst other stuff. Any race class other than regularity is a lot more strict, and you will need roll bar and harness as well. With the safety boxes ticked, scrutineering signed off, and zero track time, I was about to find out how a home-built Speedster handles the real thing. Out onto the track for Friday practice, and it didn't take long to realize that this wasn't a speed-matched regularity group. This was mixed practice. Racing cars were flying past me like I was standing still. On the open road, the Speedster feels like a rocket ship. Out here, it felt like a tractor. Corner by corner, I started finding a rhythm, getting a feel for the racing lines, and then the straight eight just died. Total silence. Turns out, that front tow hook I fabricated just to pass scrutineering, I was about to use it a lot sooner than I thought. A huge shout out to the Winton track marshals who safely hooked me up and dragged me back to the pits. I didn't have an official pit crew, but at an event like this, you're never short of willing helpers. We pulled the distributor cap to find the rotor button wasn't spinning. Digging deeper, we pulled the oil pump only to find it had completely seized, stripping teeth right off the gear. Friday practice was over and the car was dead in the water. Giving up wasn't an option. I went home Friday night, dug through the spares, and returned Saturday morning with a replacement oil pump. After a frantic swap and sorting a temperamental ignition module, it was moment of truth time. old girl delivered. We fired it up, made our way to pre-grid, and successfully completed 2 full races without a single hiccup.
Ulster, Danny Morling at the wheel, and that is a 1930 model Austin 7. Not too sure how many years it made Austin 7 for, but it was a very long time. Austin 7's up right into the late 20s, early 30s and so on, and they sort of made them a bit more modern and a bit bigger and more expanded. Wide wheels and on them and stuff like that, so yes, I did take it on for a long time. It's amazing that so many of them are still about in all sorts of forms, whether it's a concourse car or a little racing car like we're seeing car 34 going through. That's the Stewart Drug in the Oxford. And if you've ever seen the crankshaft out of an Austin 7, it's a bit like a 10-piece or there's nothing much to it. Yes. And I shudder to think of the stresses and strains and the flexibility that must be available in that crankshaft. Apparently one of the things one of these things up is you have to take a little bit off the deck height.
finish line wasn't about the lap times or winning trophies. It was simply about the fact that this hand-built road car faced a major mechanical failure, overcame it, and held its own on a legendary racing circuit. Rolling back into the pits really lets you soak in the unique atmosphere of historic Winton. It's a place where the passion for keeping automotive history alive is completely infectious. You don't just see these vehicles sitting static under a tarp. You smell the oil, hear the roar, and see them being driven exactly as they were meant to be. Massive thank you to the Austin 7 Club for inviting me out and putting together such an incredible event. Honestly, when I started building this car, motorsport wasn't even on my radar. I was never really into racing. But standing here in the pits, looking at a paddock full of vintage steel, I can absolutely see the allure. Will the Speedster be back on the track? Well, we will have to wait and see. Until next time.